Welcome to the Excel Introduction tutorial. There are two versions of Excel you can use, the online and the downloaded versions, but we're going to focus on the downloaded version of Excel. When you open Excel, you're going to be greeted with this page. You have the home page, the new page, and the open page. The home page is going to give you some basic templates, your most used Excel sheets, and your most recent Excel sheets. The new page is going to be full of templates. You can search for templates or scroll through or select suggested searches. Open will allow you to open stored workbooks on your computer. We are going to work on a blank workbook today. Now that it is open, there are a few basic components to the workbook. First is the cell. Second is the columns. And third are the rows. You can find the cell name in the top left as B3, column B, row 3. To select the column, click on the column header, and same with the row. To zoom on your Excel worksheet, press Control and use the scroll wheel, or in the bottom right corner, you can press the plus or minus button or drag to your desired zoom. Up at the top is your ribbons. The Home tab, the Insert, Draw, Page Layout, Formulas, Data Review, View, and some other tabs as well. We're mostly going to stick with the Home tab and the Insert tab. Some quick shortcuts will be to go to the right, click Tab, and to go down, press Enter. Tab, Tab, Enter will take you to the next row. You can also use your arrow keys to move in any direction. So let's say you want to keep track of your monthly expenses. We're going to enter our data. And when entering dates or any series of data, you can click on the cell, go to the bottom right corner, and when this cursor appears, click and drag down, and your data will automatically fill. Now we're going to enter in our payments for each month. Let's say you also want to give a reason for each month's payment. So we'll add a third column with the reason, just for the first month, for example. Now that we have our data, we can see that our reason goes outside of the length of the cell. So if something were to be entered in the D column, it would be cut off. So what we want to do is go to the cell, or we can select the whole column, go to Format, and you have some options here, but we're going to do Auto Fit Column Width. That will automatically change the width of the column to what's inside of the cells. Now let's say you don't want to see the reason for the payment and you just want to see these two columns. So what we're going to do is right click on the column header and select Hide. Now you cannot see that column, but it's still there. So to bring it back, we'll select the B in the D column, right click, and select Unhide. The other way to do it is to select the column, go up to Format, and select Hide and Hide Columns. And the same thing to unhide it. To move a column, we're going to select the column, move to where our cursor turns into 4 arrows, press Shift, click, and drag to our desired location. Now the date is on the left and the payments are on the right. To add a row, you can select the row and either just click Insert, or you can right click on the row and click Insert. To delete a row, you can do the same thing. Go up to here on the ribbon, select delete, or right click on the row and select delete. Now you have entered this data, but you really want it in a table. So what we're going to do is go to the insert. We're going to deselect first, go to insert, tables, and it's going to automatically select your data. We're going to click OK. And now our data is in a table. This allows you to do a couple things. First, it gives you some filtering options. Selecting the down arrow, you can sort your data or filter it. If we want to sort it from the newest date to the oldest, so we'll change that back. Now, if we want to see, the largest payments on top. We can go here, select sort largest to smallest, and you'll get your largest payment on top and your smallest payment on the bottom. And now to filter it, we can go down to filter and we can deselect everything, or we can deselect certain months we don't want to see, deselect all of it and select the months that we only want to see, and click OK. Now you'll only see those months. All the data is still there, so now you just go back into the menu, select clear filter, and all your data is back. Another reason you may want to filter data is because you only want to see payments above $5,000, for example. So we'll go into the drop down arrow, we'll go to number filters, and we can select greater than or equal to, enter 5,000, and select OK. Now you'll only see the payments that are over $5,000. To clear this filter, go to the drop down menu and select clear filter. Numbers can be a bit distracting, so one way to make numbers faster and easier to read is using conditional formatting. If you want to see which payments were higher and which were lower, we can go to the Home tab and using conditional formatting. So we'll select our data, go to conditional formatting, we'll use color scales for this, and select the color scale that you like the most. We'll use this because we don't like the larger payments, and that'll show your larger payments, your more average payments, and your lower payments in green. Another way to find answers about your data is use the Analyze Data function on the Home tab of the Excel ribbon. So we'll go up to the top right of the Home tab, select Analyze Data. It will automatically select your table, and you can ask questions about your data or see pre-made charts. So we may ask, and it'll produce an answer. You can also insert this through a pivot table, but we're not going to get into that so far. Another great feature about the table is you can add a total row inside of the table. So we'll go to Table Design, and we'll select Total Row. Now we can click on the cell, click the drop-down arrow, and we'll select the sum. That'll give your total amount of payments for the year. We'll change this to none, and now you have the total of all payments. You can change this to the average, the number of payments, and so on. Now, if you want the sum, average, median, minimum, or maximum on a different location in your worksheet, we'll use a formula for this. You can find your formulas in the Formulas tab. There'll be many, many formulas. But for right now, we're going to show you how to do it if you know what function you want to use. So we'll select a cell, enter the equal sign, and type sum. A list will pop up, and we want sum. So we'll hit tab, and then we'll select our data range. Now press enter, and you'll have the sum. The same can be done for the average. Select tab, select the data, and press enter. Data can also be useful when it is in visual form like charts. To insert a chart, first we'll select our data. Then we'll go to the Insert tab, and there's a chart section. We'll use recommended charts, but if you know the chart type that you like, you can click on the chart type. But we'll use recommended charts. We'll stick with this line graph, and we'll click OK. Now you have your chart. You can move it around, make it larger, or change the way it looks. We'll add a trend line so we know the trend of payments. They seem to be going down. Another useful tool is pivot tables. Pivot tables allow you to summarize, organize, and analyze large data sets. With our small data set, it won't be that useful, but with more data and categories, pivot tables are very useful to add. To add a pivot table, first we'll select our data that we want to use, go to the Insert tab, select Pivot Table, and we'll add it to a new worksheet. Click OK, and your pivot table is here. We'll select the data we want to use. And first we have this, we'll have it by month, just like our table on sheet 1 over here. But what we can do is move this data over here. So you'll have data like this. Move this over to a column, move date over the column, and now it'll be horizontal. You could do the opposite, or you can filter. There's a lot of different options with pivot tables. That wraps up this tutorial. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to help. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. More tutorials are on the way, so stay tuned.